everyone, I'm Jodi and welcome to my channel. I'm really glad that you're here today. So if you're like me, you are always looking for ways to make your everyday makeup look more affordable. There are some great high-end products, and yes, we all love to indulge in high-end products from time to time, but there's also some very good quality, affordable makeup brands on the market. So what I wanted to bring you today is not only show you how I apply these affordable makeup brands, but which ones I use specifically. Now, I dare to say drugstore, but all of these are drugstore and each of them are under $20. So I think affordable and drugstore, budget friendly, it's all sort of in the same realm to me, because affordable and budget friendly are subjective and it just depends on your situation. I think drugstore sometimes can have a negative connotation and it shouldn't. Drugstore cosmetics do have some very good brands. So today I'm going to show you a nice everyday makeup look, how to apply it specifically, especially the eyes, that makes a big difference. And we're going to do it using some affordable drugstore makeup. Now, before we get started, I have to ask that if you like this video at the end, please make sure that you click the like button. Also share it with anybody that you think might enjoy this video, and be sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell so that you are notified when a new video is posted. I post a new one every Monday and Thursday. Those three things help the YouTube algorithm, and therefore other women that are searching for an everyday makeup look for mature skin can also find this video and it can be helpful to them as well. And as soon as we're done with our makeup look, I'll show you the shirt that I have on and how I paired it with this jewelry and where to find some of these pieces. So if you're ready, let's get started. Okay, so the first thing is I already have some sunscreen on my face and letting it really moisturize and sort of penetrate into my skin. And then I have put on my moisturizer, which, as you guys know, I use the La Roche-Posay with the niacinamide in it with additional sunscreen, and I've let that sort of penetrate into the skin. Both of those can be found at your drugstore. Ulta carries them, Amazon. They are a little on the higher end pricey side within the drugstore realm, but I swear by that La Roche-Posay. It's been a very good product for a really long time. And then after the moisturizer, I go in with a little bit of Aquaphor just to make sure that my lips are nice and moisturized by the time I get to that final stage. So the first thing that I'm gonna do is take my NYX Wonderstick. This is in medium. I like the concealer, it conceals very well, and then it has this contour. And we're just gonna go over, if you can see my eyes are a little bit purpley, you may have that too. Pretty common as we age, our skin tends to thin out a little bit. So I like to just cover all of that up, and I do this before my foundation, and then I will go underneath just like that, because I want to get that part of my eyes to more of a neutral state. And that looks a little crazy, but we're going to leave it for purposes of, visual learning. And then I'm going to go in with a damp beauty sponge, and this is by Real Techniques. I love it because of that angle. Now, if you've never used a beauty sponge before, the key is to make sure that you soak this in water, squeeze it, put it in water, squeeze it until it is expanded, at least double in size. And then I squeeze out all of the excess water, and that really does help so that you don't have a little bit of water mixing with your product. That just helps it wear uneven if there's too much moisture left in your beauty sponge. So then I just like to go and blend all of that out so that it is nice and smooth, and again gives me nice even tone around my eye area. And if you don't have that purple area under your eyes, you don't need to use this step. I just find that it works as a primer for my eyelids. It helps my eyeshadow stay on, and if I don't want to wear an eyeshadow, then it helps even out that area. Okay, so you can see that just gives it a little bit more of a brighter look to the eye area. And then we will go in with the other side of this, and this is where I just want to do a little bit of light contouring just to go and sort of bring that hairline forward. Let me just put this back so you can really get a sense for it. And if you have a receding hairline, then that's what this is really perfect for. It just gives the illusion of a little bit of shadow there so that it appears as though the hairline hasn't receded. Now, the key to a contour for older women as we age is to ensure that that contour stick or that contour color goes into your hairline. You don't want to leave any white areas there or lighter areas, because that will show through your hair if the wind blows or if you go to put your sunglasses on. As that hair gets thin through there, you'll see that it's contour, and that's definitely not what we want. So then I'm going to just take right at the center of my ear and just draw a little bit of a contour right like that. Now you might say, well, why are you doing this before you put on your foundation? I prefer to do it this way in my everyday quick routine because I think it's just faster and it works just fine. And then here we're just gonna go down and draw a little bit of a jawline. And again, that goes right underneath your jaw, and we'll blend that out so it will give the illusion. And I'm just gonna go in with my note to self, make sure that you twist this all the way down before you put the lid on it, or you will leave half of it on the lid like I just did. Okay, so I'm gonna go in with my damp beauty sponge. I'm gonna use the opposite side of it, this more pouncy side, and just go in and blend this out a little bit so that there are no lines, no obvious areas where we put that. And again, if you do this while you're, you know, watching me on YouTube and doing your makeup, it will go rather quickly. So you can see you're just going to give a little bit of a shadow and then put that into your hairline. Now the thing about contours, you want to make sure that whatever you decide to use for a contour color or contour stick, you want it to be matte. You don't want any glimmer, shimmer, shine, nothing like that to it, because that's just not what a contour is. Contour is supposed to be shading. And if it's shading, it's not, you don't see shadows that are glowing unless you're, you know, a fairy godmother or something. Okay, so you can see I'm just going under the jawline just to help create a little bit of a jaw. And then over here, we're just gonna go just underneath, again, kind of that center mark of your ear. So if you looked at your ear from here to here, halfway, that's where I put that contour, and just brought it in no closer in than the outer corner of my eye. And that's going to be important when we go to put on our blush and our highlighter as well, is just sort of thinking where that line is. Now there is a school of thought that you should bring your contour kind of up at an angle. I do that. I don't have it completely straight, but I do try to have it in between an angle and a straight. So just a slight, ever so slight angle so that you do get that lift to your face. But if you do it at too much of an angle, then you are giving this elongated look to your face, and it goes against your natural cheekbone. So we're really just trying to shadow under our cheekbone. So you want to give it ever so slightly of a decline, but not so much so that you pull your face down. Next, we're gonna go in with the True Match Nude. This is by Loreal. Now, because we're going into summer, I bumped up to a 4.5. In winter and spring, I'm more of a 2 to 3, which is what I love about this True Nude, is not only does it have hyaluronic acid in it, but its shade ranges vary greatly in one bottle. And that's because that you can use a little bit more to go a little bit darker. You can use a little bit less to go a little bit lighter. You can always add some moisturizer to it to make it a lighter color. If you only want to buy one bottle, lighten it in the winter. Don't use that, don't blend it with your moisturizer before you put it on. It goes to the darker side. So you can customize just the one simple bottle, which I love about it. Now I'm just gonna take a little bit on my hand, get out damp beauty sponge, get out, you know, not that I expect there to be lumps in it, that's not the point, but I just like to shear it out to make sure that I get good coverage and it just looks nice and flawless, and it just helps with the blurring of the whole look, in my opinion. Now you can buy those little trays to put your, you know, foundation on and mix it. I just found that it was so much easier to wash my hand off after putting on my makeup than to wash those little trays every time, because I'm washing my hands anyways. And I felt like those trays never quite got clean from daily use. And so I thought, why do I need to spend money on that when I can just put it on my hand, back of a Tupperware lid, whatever you want. We don't need to buy. I mean, we're from the generation that made do with things. We can improvise. Look how well that True Match works. It tinted moisturizer, which is my preferred look in the summer. Now, again, this does leave more of a satin finish. It's not a matte finish. So now that you've blended in that foundation all over your face, you're gonna wanna go back in with a light translucent powder, and I'm going to use the RCMA No Color Powder. This is a favorite of mine, so I've used it for years. It's one of my favorite, as I said, and I just want to go in with a light fluffy brush. This is the Real Technique 217, and I'm just going to go in with that and go over my eyelids and sort of set that concealer that we used with a really light translucent powder. That way my shadows will spread really nicely. If I choose to not use a shadow on my eyes, that concealer will still set and look nice and natural. Now I am going to use a little bit of a eyeshadow today, but not a lot. So I do want more of that natural look right through there. So next we'll go into the eyebrows, and I'm just going to brush those up so that we have a little bit extra volume and fullness appearance to them. And I just like to brush them up and out on this outside. And then in the front, I just like to go up and a little bit more towards the front. Now, I try to line the bottom of my eyebrows first to give the shape, and then from there fill them in. And I like to do the front last so that I have the lightest part of the eyebrow look in the very front. I'm going to use the L'Oreal Micro Ink pen. This has a very thin head to it, but it also goes on like hair if you want it to. So if you are in a hurry, it just leaves little tiny hair marks, which I love because it's so easy to do. So I like to just use the very pointy side and go in across the bottom. I don't start at the front, and I just draw a little bit of a line to give me the shape. And then once I get the bottom line in the shape, I start at the center and just put the pen right at the line I just drew and pull it up in about width of the brush in distance each time, just so that I'm getting hair marks. And you can see how that looks. You can choose the color that looks best for you. And what I love about this is it's sweat proof. So if you live in a hot area where it's, I can't say that you can go into the chlorine pool and come out with it looking, and it doesn't claim to do that either. I have not tried that, but I can tell you that it is sweat proof. I played tennis recently, and I was sweaty, and this stayed on nicely. So just like that, you can see how nice that looks, and then you just want to, again, be real careful that you don't leave that bottom mark so that you can't tell that you cheated and made an eyebrow shape. But these little hair marks are just great because then you're not left with that solid eyebrow, which is just not the look that we want to do anymore. But filling in the gaps is really what I try to do with my brows, just for a nice natural look. Pull it up from that line and shape it. And then I'll go back in and just do real lightly with a real light hand the front, so that you can see it's kind of an ombre look is really what you're going for, so that it doesn't look all one color and that the front is a little bit lighter. And make sure that they look somewhat related and not identical, but not too far off from one another. And there you go. So now that our eyebrows are done, we're gonna start with our eyeshadow, and we're gonna go in with the Milani. This is the eye, cheek, and face palette, and this is in the light to medium. We've used this one a few times before. If you don't have this palette, then just grab a couple colors where maybe you have your bronzer, a little bit of a highlight, and then maybe just some, blush colors that you like to use. Super easy, but this palette I'll link below. It was, I think, $12. It was not expensive, and the quality's been really nice. So what we're gonna do is go into this shadow color right down here at the bottom, and I'm using just a MAC 219. Any pencil brush that you have that's about that size will do the trick. We're just trying to create a little bit of a wing via shadow, and it's not as scary as maybe it sounds. So we're gonna go in with that color. And again, just use whatever you normally use for your bronzer, maybe a shade darker. If you don't have a shade darker, then just grab your bronzer that you would normally use there and get a little bit on the end of your pencil brush, and then right at the center of your eye, outward and upward. We're just trying to create a little bit of a wing, and I'll show you why. Even if you don't normally wear a wing, just trust me on this. I think you'll really like the look. It's not too heavy, it's not too light. You can't really even tell that there's shadow there when you're done, but your eyes just look really pretty and sort of this natural uplifting look to them. So you can see, again, we just started halfway in the eye, right at the lash line, and then went up just about the height of that pencil. So you don't want to go higher than that, and you don't want to go any thicker than that. And then we just want it to end just slightly past our lashes in an upward motion, just like that. See? Pretty simple, right? I'm gonna go right in the center and and just along the lashes. It should get a little thicker as it goes out. And because it gets thicker as it goes out, it sort of creates a natural wing for you. You don't have to do too much. But again, think about it this way, that you don't want to go any higher on your eyelid than the height of the actual bristles. So that's why you want this size of a brush. And so you don't want to go any thicker than that. And then you don't want to go much farther than the outer corner of your eye than just a little bit of a flick. So just barely past that outer corner. So it starts out a little thinner and gets thicker. Now, if you want a darker look, then you can certainly go back and go in with this a few times and build that color up. But we just want sort of a nice summer, you know, I have eyes, but they're not totally made up today. Something like that. I'm gonna go and just get a little darker because why not? I'll say it's for the sake of demonstration, but that would be fibbing. It's really just because I can never stop at natural. I always have to go like one stage farther than natural. I don't know why, but maybe that's why we love makeup. It's because you can do these things. And then you just want that line to just disappear into the lashes before you get past that halfway mark of your lashes. And you want to blend it just so that there's no lines that show really where it stopped. Next, what I want to do is just take that same color and I'm just going to go across the bottom ever so lightly, just to give some dimension to the root of my lash and my under eye area, just so it doesn't look as though my eyes are floating. But I don't want it to be as dark as the upper eyeshadow that we just applied. So really carefully, just go right lash line, outer lash line to your inner corner of your lash line. But stop where your lashes stop. And then just connect those a little bit on the side. Just like that. And don't worry if you go past the line, because we're gonna always go back and clean it up with some concealer. So next you'll curl your lashes. If you curl your lashes, I know not everyone does this step. I think it's really important to the look that I'm reaching for, but it does not have to be the look for everyone. And then we're gonna grab a little bit of eyeliner. This is the Revlon Color Stay. And I like this one because it has this smudge brush at the end. And this isn't a dark brown. I would need my glasses to tell you exactly what color that is, but it's not black, it is a dark brown. And that's because I just have lighter hair, lighter skin color. I like to have everything a little bit more on the non-black side when I'm doing a everyday out in the light type look. If this was going to be an evening look, I would go dark because I'd want a little bit more of a bold look. So if you have an event that's maybe in the evening and you're going to be more by fireplace light, by a campfire light, lanterns, some of those nice outdoor patio lights, then you'll want to go with probably more of a dark, unless you're really light skinned, then that dark could look too harsh even in more dim light. Go towards more of a darker brown, darker purple, things like that. But if you have skin that's more medium in skin color to darker, then you can absolutely get away with the black eyeliner, black mascara, and sort of a darker look. So with this, we're just gonna go to our lash line, and I'm gonna look down because that helps you apply the eyeliner where you want it. I'm gonna go to the outer corner and just make little hair strokes to all the way across my lashes so that it appears as though my lashes are thicker at the base. But I don't want it to look as though I have on eyeliner, so I really want to blend that right into my lashes. Little tiny hair strokes right into the lashes just makes it easier to control and give you that depth to your lash versus an eyeliner look. Now, if you want an eyeliner look, then you'll go just above your lashes. That'll be tonight's look. That's not today. There, just something real simple like that. Now, you could go across the bottom. There's no rhyme or reason why I do. It just depends on how I'm feeling that day, but I did put a little bit darker color on top, so I will go just a little bit along the bottom. Same thing, small strokes right along the hairline until you get to the end of your lashes. And then I just make sure that they are connected in the outer corner. Next, we'll go back in with our NYX multi-stick, Wonderstick. That's a great name for it because it does wonderful things. And just go to the corner of your eye and bring that out in a straight line. And then I want to go just in the corner of my eye, just to make sure there's no purple areas left there. And then I want to go just to this area right here, just to give a little bit of an uplifting look to the corners of my mouth. As we age, that tends to go in a downward slope. So I like to just put a nice uphill upward motion in my brightener, my highlighter, and then I'll just put a little bit around my nose because I tend to get a little bit, my makeup tends to go away through there, and then I'll just go just down my nose, just a quick little line like that, and then we'll put just a few on our forehead. And again, this is all with this stick, you guys. It's super fast and easy to use. And then I will go back in with the damp beauty sponge that I used for the foundation and just blend that in. So you can't really even tell it's there when you're done, but it just gives a nice natural look to your face, and it highlights it in the areas that you want a little bit of coverage, but you also want it to be highlighted. So now that we've blended in that highlight / contour stick a little bit more, I'm looking at the eyes and think, okay, I want those to be just a little bit darker of a lift coming off that shadow. So I'm gonna go in with my e.l.f. setting spray, and I'm just gonna spray it a little bit on the same brush and just get it moist so that the product will go on and add a little bit more pigmentation to the color and be a little bit darker. So I'm gonna go back to that same color, and again, you'll be using your bronzer, or if you have on a special color shirt today and you wanna pull that color, that's fine. This color isn't critically important to the look, it's just the application of the shadow that is a little bit more important than the actual color. I'm just gonna go a little bit darker just to flare that out a little bit more. There, that's more what that's what we were going for. So you guys, again, if it's not quite as dark as you want, no worries. It's not the color that's as important in this look as it is the placement of the color. And I love this e.l.f. setting spray. This is the dewy coconut setting mist. Not only does it smell great, it really works well. It also works really well with blush. If you've got a nice blush, and sometimes you don't wanna, we don't always wanna go buy another blush if it's a powder blush, then you can just add a little bit of setting spray to it. It'll give a more intense color, and you can go from day to night with that same blush powder, or powder blush. All right, so from there, we're gonna go in with our mascara, and I'm gonna use the La Roche-Posay Waterproof. I've talked about this one a lot on my channel. If you don't have this one and you're looking for a good waterproof mascara, the Neutrogena Hydro Boost is also a nice one. It's a little bit less of a price point than the La Roche-Posay. They are both under $20, and I will link them down below. And I love them both. I just grabbed that one first, but I would use either of these. And then I just like to get off all that excess mascara before I apply this to my upper lashes. And again, I just like to go in right at the base of the lash, wiggle it a little bit, and then when I get to that outer corner, I just like to lift and pull instead of up, just up and out, just to sort of elongate the look of that eye. We'll do it same on the other side, and then I'll just balance them out with going a little bit on that bottom outer corner. So I'm gonna go back in with a second layer of mascara, second coat of mascara, just on the upper lashes and the outer corner of the upper lashes, just to give them a little bit more of a boldness to them, but I don't want to bold the whole lash. And of course, if you do get mascara on your skin, no worries. Just let it dry and then it will flake right off. Next, we're gonna go into our blush, and you can use powder blush. I prefer a cream blush as we get older. You can use either the Kiko Milano if you love that brand. I really do love this brand. They have such pretty colors. They wear all day. They're gorgeous. If you have this palette, then you can use any blush that you want. I like this blush on top because it has a little bit of a pinkness to it, a peachy color, but it also has some shimmers in it. So I like it for that reason, because then it's a 2-for-1. And I'm gonna use my Real Techniques brush. This is brush 420, and just go in and get that all over that brush. Here's where we put that contour stick. We went middle of the ear and came to about the outer corner of the eye. Now for the blush placement, I'm gonna put that right above the contour. I just don't want it to come out as far as the contour. I want it to stop short of that contour stick. In fact, let me do it with a cream blush just so that you can get a sense of where that blush is stopping. And then when we go to add the highlighter, I'm gonna do that now just so you guys can see the point of difference. And for that, I'm just gonna use this e.l.f. highlighting pen. The application's a little messy, so let me just get off the excess. Now the application of the highlight is gonna go right above the blush, but not as far back and not as far forward. So almost just on the top, like the star on the Christmas tree. Think about it that way. So you're not reaching as far as the other two colors. Now, once you have that on, then you would just go back with your damp beauty sponge if you've used cream. And since we have the blush on this brush already, I'm just gonna use this side. I'll do the powder for those of you that prefer powder, and that way you can see how it blends. And then we'll go into the highlight, which is right here. And I will use a powder highlight. Again, my preference at my age is to use creams for these 3 steps, but if you have powder, then use what you have. So I applied those products with this fan brush in a horizontal position, and now I'm gonna blend them and just turn it from horizontal to vertical and just blend them so that they sort of blend into one another. And then I'll flip it and do that again because we had a little bit of blush and a little bit of highlighter on this whole brush. So when I just flip it that way, it just gives me a nice blend. It's easy, so I hope you guys are doing this. I'm sure it is looking great on you. Now we've got this cream side, so I will just take a damp beauty sponge and blend this in. So you can just use whatever formulation of blush and highlighter that either you have, or you're trying to use one up before you switch to the other one, or maybe you're just more comfortable with one. I just find that the cream doesn't seem to pick up quite as much texture on my skin, and we're gonna set this all with that setting spray, so you don't need the powder, blush, and highlighter on top of the foundation to set it. You just can use a little bit of setting spray. So next I'm gonna go in with this NYX lip liner, and this is in Natural, and just line my lips ever so slightly. Now for my everyday look, I like to just line my lips, and then I will go in with a brush and blend that line inward to the inner parts of my mouth. Now it's important that you carry that lip liner all the way to the corner. I do see people stop a little bit shy, and that does make a difference on the size or the appearance of the size of your lips. And then once you get your lip liner on, I like to take a synthetic brush. I just use the same one I always use for my lips, and this is the Morphe 167. And I like to just pull that line towards the center and just soften it a little bit. And then last I'm gonna go in with this Burt's Bees. This is their lip shimmer. Because of the formulation of these, they're very smooth and creamy. I will just put them directly on my lip. And then once I apply that lipstick or that lip shimmer, I'll go back in with this Morphe M167, which was the one we used to blend that lip liner. And I'll just blend out my lip shimmer. And the reason this is important is it not only does it really spread out the product, but it also puts it in any of those fine lines and gets the product really pushed in. And then once I know my mascara is dry and I've applied all of the other product that I want to use that day, I'll go back with my e.l.f. coconut setting spray and just spray everything so that it's set and lasts longer throughout the day. I told you it'd be about 10 minutes minus all of my talking. Yeah, we're not even close. I promised you I would just highlight a couple of things that I'm wearing. This necklace, I love these little chokers. I just think they add a nice little sort of current look to your overall appearance. And I got this by Altered State. I'll link it down below. Just a simple little heart necklace. I like my earrings and my jewelry, my necklace and my earrings to coordinate. I don't want one to overpower the other. And so since I have a little bit of, you know, fake diamond look down here, I just have some little diamond here to sort of keep those coordinated but not look exactly the same, and then a little bit of lightness here just so that it's all coordinated. If I didn't have as many necklaces on, then I would go with a bolder earring so that that was the statement, but with multiple necklaces, I just want a little something soft here to pull it all together. And then this shirt is by Madewell. It is a two-piece shirt. It's short, it's just a little, it comes right to about right there. You can't really tuck it in, so I'm not sure how much I love it, but I do love this is just a little camisole. It comes to about right here. I won't pull that down because that's just not quite appropriate, but yeah, it goes to right here, and it's really cute. It's more of an oatmeal color. I hope that comes across on the camera, but yeah, it's just fun and light, and you could wear, you know, the sweater off if you wanted. I don't have the nerve to do that. And then for this bracelet, I've showed you guys these, I think a couple, I wear these in a lot of videos. This is by Victoria Emerson. And what I love about these bracelets is She's done all the work and coordinated the different colors, different textures together. It's a nice magnetic clip. You just snap it or you twist it, and it gets harder to put on necklaces or bracelets. Then I think that this clasp is just perfect for that. It's very simple. I'll link this down below if you're interested to get to her website, as I have done to order. They're just a nice variety, and they're not expensive, which I love about that. Okay, so I think that does it for me today. I hope you guys enjoy this everyday affordable makeup look. I hope you did it with me. If not, I hope you return to this video over the weekend or where you have some time for some self-care, do something fun for yourself, and put this look together. If you like the video, please give it a thumbs up, share it with your girlfriends, and be sure to subscribe. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.